Dublin's most exclusive address. We're going around some of the streets. We're going to go into a lovely park a little later on, Herbert Park, nice neighbourhood park, and show you some of the sights around here. Ballsbridge is also known for its embassies, so there's lots of, it's actually 28 embassies around Ballsbridge. Some of them very famous. Now it's very, very cloudy right now, and it looks like it's going to rain, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it looks like it is going to rain. It's been fine for the last hour and a half. It hasn't rained at all. But I'm looking up above me and I'm seeing some great clouds coming over. So we may get some rain, unfortunately. But what can you do? That's Irish weather for you. What's it like where you guys are? It's kind of windy out today as well. So it's pretty cold. It's probably about 3 degrees centigrade. Probably about 38, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Although it is a lot colder in a lot of places for you guys living in the US and Canada. So I shouldn't be complaining at all. Actually, our weather here in Ireland isn't that bad. We get no extremes. It's never too cold. And it's definitely never too hot. So we're actually blessed in that way. Cloudy and warm, says Andrea in Philadelphia. Cold here, Lake Erie, but not too bad. Also Pennsylvania, Lake Erie, isn't it? Poppy, how you doing? James P. Welcome everybody, folks. Good to see us all. So we're going to kick off, start our tour here in the lovely leafy neighbourhood of Ballsbridge. And it's good to see us all on today, folks. Hope you're all doing well. My eyes are watering because it is windy and cold. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wipe my eyes here because I'm going to be hardly able to hear or see through the screen. So here, this is, as I said, Ballsbridge. Population of Ballsbridge is 16,749 people, 47 restaurants here. There's 14 pubs. And as I said before, it's the most expensive real estate in Ireland. It's definitely a leafy neighbourhood. And as I said before, the most exclusive address known as Dublin 4, D4. Now, we're only about, I'd say, 1.5 kilometres from the heart of Dublin City. So it really is a very close neighbourhood or suburb to Dublin City. But it's where, I say, a lot of people of means of wealth, certain amount of wealth anyway, would live. Now, we're looking right here, folks. This is probably the most important building in all of Ballsbridge, and this is the RDS, the Royal Dublin Society. It's over 40 acres, this building, 40 acres, so there's a lot of it behind this building as well. They've lots of land as well, including a horse arena where they have show jumping. I'll show you a little bit about that a little bit later when we go around to the back. It's actually private ground, so I can't actually go inside the horse arena. And also Leinster Rugby Club is there as well, which I also won't be able to go in, but we'll show it to you from afar. So the RDS was founded in 1731 by the Dublin Philosophical Society. Its aim was to improve manufacturing, economic activity, and the creation of employment. Now, this building right here dates back to when the RDS, when the Dublin Philosophical Society became the RDS in 1879. They acquired this building. As I said before, it's got over 40 acres. It's got 11 rooms in it, including the main hall, which can hold, this is the main hall that you're looking at straight ahead of you here, folks. It can hold up to 25,000 people as the wind gets very much harder right now at the moment. Now, there's actually another hall right close to this building, all part of the RDS, called Simmons Court, and the Eurovision Song Contest was held there in 1988, and the winner that year was none other than Celine Dion. I know she's Canadian, Celine Dion, but on that day she represented Switzerland in the Eurovision Song Contest, and as I say, she won the contest. Now, there's lots and lots of events to take place here on a daily basis right here at the RDS, including a lot of like craft shows, the holiday shows, travel shows. science shows, all kinds of exhibitions, concerts, you name it. All kinds of events take place right here at the RDS. Now I'm going to go across the road here, folks. There's actually a traffic light here. I got to use the traffic lights. This is a busy road coming from Dublin City out onto the Dublin suburbs. Further up from here, you have like towns like Monkstown and Booterstown, Mount Merion, Blackrock, all the way to Dunleary and so forth. So this is actually the coast road. Goes all out to the seaside towns, as I say, of Dunleary and Killiney, Dalkey, and even Bray in County Wicklow. So it's actually more or less a straight road out as well. The name of this road actually goes Merion Road. Very exclusive. We're waiting for the light to go green here. As I say, there is plenty of traffic, so I'm not going to attempt to run across the road. That would be quite dangerous. Hope you're all doing fine, folks. You're having a good time so far. And this is a very long light, so what can you do? But as I say, you're looking at anybody who's just joined us just right now. This building that you're looking at right here is the RDS, the Royal Dublin Society. And this is one of the most exclusive buildings in all of Dublin. And this is an event centre where there's many, many events to take place right here. Lots of science exhibitions, travel shows, arts and crafts shows. Weddings take place in here as well. The main hall, as I say, right here that you see in front of me, holds up to 25,000 people. So as I say, these events will be events of much significance. Now, if you look at this building that I'm showing you right over here, this is in about their third year of building this building right here. And this was where the old AIB building, the Irish Allied Irish Banks building was. But this building right here is the new headquarters for Facebook here in Dublin, their European headquarters. Right at the present time, they're at another location around by Grand Canal Dock. You may have seen that on my other tour that I do of the Dublin Docklands and Grand Canal Dock, Grand Canal Square. That's where their headquarters are presently located. But they're going to be moving in here probably in, I'd say, about 6 months or so into this huge big building. You're only seeing part of it because it's very big at the back as well. There's other buildings too. All going to be housing the workers of Facebook. As I say, this is their European headquarters right here in Dublin. Now, there's 14 bars all told here in Ballsbridge. And this one is the largest of them all because the horse show house and a really, really busy bar because, as I said before, there's so many different events that take place in the RDS, the Royal Dublin Society, every single day. And they would come in afterwards to this pub. And also a lot of the rugby international games take place around the corner in Aviva Stadium. So once again, this will be very, very busy because of that. It's owned by the Madigan Group. They own about 7 pubs around Dublin. They own a few coffee shops as well. And if you look right here, you'll see Madigan Square Garden, not Madison, but Madigan Square Garden. This is the beer garden, and this is the largest beer garden in Ballsbridge. It's really quite significant, pretty big. Now, if you look, the headquarters of the Madigan Group that owns this pub, and as I say, they own about 7 or 8 pubs around Dublin. And this is a historical site, this building, historical building, which is their headquarters of the Madigan Group right there, a listed building. So a lot of the listed buildings here in Dublin, you cannot tear down. It's listed, and they're not allowed to develop and take down them buildings and so forth. Lots of buildings going on here in Ballsbridge, not just Ballsbridge, but in Dublin. Lots of construction going on, tons of cranes in the air, as we're a developed nation and we're developing all the time. And lots of the big tech companies and pharmaceuticals, banking institutions are already located here, but there's many others, tech companies that are moving here to Dublin because of the low corporate tax rate at 12.5%, the lowest in Europe. Now here's the little village, if you like, of Ballsbridge. You got some nice little pubs here. You got Paddy Cullen's. Paddy Cullen's is named after a man that actually, the original owner, his name was Paddy Cullen. He was the goalkeeper for the Dublin GAA team, Gaelic football team, our national sport. As this van gets in our way to show you the rest. You got Crow's Bar right there with the Harp logo and the Guinness sign. then beside it you got Mary Max. And this bridge right here, folks, is one of the oldest parts of Ballsbridge itself. And it gets its name, Ballsbridge gets its name from this particular bridge right here. Because this would have been in the early 1700s, late 1600s, early 1700s, would have been all farmland. And one of the first things that they built was this bridge right here on the road. And this area was owned by a man called Mr. Ball, hence the name Ballsbridge. And there's the bridge right there, folks, running over the River Liffey. The River Dodder. I'll show you the River Dodder in just a little bit. Welcome, everyone who's just joined us. Good to see us all. As I say, we're here in Ballsbridge here in Dublin, an exclusive area. This road that we're just leaving is Mount Marion Road. And we're making our way to Anglesey Road right here. Now, Ballsbridge boasts two of the three most expensive roads in all of Dublin, probably in all of Ireland as well. And we're going to go into, we just showed you the RDS right there, the Royal Dublin Society building, and we're going to go into the back. We're not actually going to go inside because it's private grounds, but we'll show you from afar. We'll show you the showgrounds, as they're called, at the RDS. Here's a lovely library right here, the Pembroke Library, an old building dating back to 1894. Lots of old buildings here in Dublin. A lot of the libraries here in Dublin were established by Carnegie, the Carnegie libraries. Right, Andrew Carnegie, a philanthropist, a businessman, and the original owner of Pittsburgh Steel. But something like, I think it was like close to 100 libraries he set up in Ireland in the early 1900s. And you'll see lots of Carnegie libraries throughout Ireland. Now I want to show you, as I say, this is the RDS, part of the RDS right here in the background. And this is, each year there is one of the world's largest horse show events, horse show jumping events, takes place right here at the RDS. You'll see some of the grounds right here where the horse riders would perform. And it's been going on, believe it or not, folks, since 1864, this horse show, the RDS. It's a 5-day event here in Dublin, and there's just thousands and thousands of people from all over the world that come to perform and come to watch the Dublin Horse Show, as it's called. Now, the biggest event is the Aga Khan Cup, and the Aga is a membership club. Yeah, it's more or less membership. They have rugby in here and so forth. So it's called the Royal Dublin Society. Now, they do have events that are open to the public as well, but they also have private members that would have private events to take place here as well. But as I was saying, the Aga Khan is the biggest competition during the Dublin Horse Show, and it's been going on since 1926, the Aga Khan. And the Aga Khan Cup, what it is, it's 12 teams with 4 jump riders, horse riders on each team. And obviously it's jump off, and the team with the lowest amount of points, or the lowest amount of faults, as I say, that clear the jumps and so forth, wins the Aga Khan. And that's a huge, huge event. Now, Great Britain have won it since 1926. I think they've won it 38 times, and Ireland has won it like 25 times, including 2022, the Irish team won the Aga Khan. So they're the two countries that have won it the most. But you get all France, Switzerland, and in fact, the US team in 2014, they won the Aga Khan Cup. And one of the riders that year for the US team was none other than Jessica Springsteen, the daughter, of course, of Bruce Springsteen, one of the great artists and so forth. Now, Ireland, we're known as horse breeders and so forth, and probably one of the biggest horse breeding countries in the world, especially for thoroughbred horses and for show jumpers as well. And there's also, in the back of here, you have the Leinster grounds. You'll see the stadium right there. You see the stands right there. That's just the back of them. But inside there, you have the Leinster Stadium, which houses the Leinster Rugby Club. and who are the most successful club team in Europe. And over the last dozen years or so, 12 years, they have won the Heineken Cup 4 times, which is the most prestigious club event throughout Europe. And they've also won 6 Pro 14 titles, the second most important event that takes place in club rugby. Now, Leinster Rugby was founded in 1879. And as I say, it's a 20,000 seat stadium right here. But they also have concerts at that stadium where obviously the masses or the crowds can stand in on the field and so forth, as well as the stands. And Bruce Springsteen performed there to 115,000 people just a few years ago. Hi, Paddy, good to see you. We're making our way now. There's a lot of traffic right here, but we're making our way across here to, we're going to make our way into Herbert Park. There's a lovely little hotel here, Herbert Park Hotel. But we're going to make our way into Herbert Park as soon as I can cross this road. As I say, it's quite busy. Can you zoom in? You know, I'm having a problem. Hago's having a problem with zooming. And anytime I zoom in, I've lost the Hago app. And I've had to come out of it. Now I'm going to try it again because I haven't tried it for a while. But I'm just hoping that this doesn't happen. So I'll show you this arena by zooming in here. But I hope everything's going to be all right. No problem, Paddy. No worries. Well, there you are. Okay, so it seems to be working. It's back to normal. But I was having serious problems with zooming in over the last week or so. It just wasn't working. And the app here wasn't working. I did a tour last Thursday, and I lost the whole app, or lost the whole signal for over a half an hour. But luckily I got it back. Now once again, it's very busy, this road. So there's no traffic light here. I'll have to go all the way back to the end of the street to get the traffic light. So I might be here for a couple of minutes trying to cross the road. Unless someone stops for me. Like here. Thank you. Okay, we made it, folks. We made it. Great stuff. So we're going to make our way into this lovely, lovely suburban park called Herbert Park. There's a hotel here as well, and some beautiful grounds. But I'll just show you here. This is Dublin's second largest river. This is the River Dodder. It starts. Hi, Carly. Good to see you. And this starts in the Capure and the Wicklow Mountains and flows all the way down here. It's 26 kilometres, 16 miles. And I say the second biggest river in Dublin, next to the River Liffey, which runs through the city of Dublin. There's 21 bridges over it. Now these are apartments right here. This is not part of the hotel. The hotel's around the corner here. These apartments would be very, very expensive. You're looking at 2,500 to 3,000 euros a month for 2-bedroom apartments right here. Now, as regards real estate here, especially around areas like Ballsbridge, a lot of it is old money, in that people that own these apartments and own these homes do not sell them. Very rarely would you see the buildings around this area up for sale, because they get so much money from rental properties that it's beneficial for them to hold on to these properties for as long as they can, because they can make so much rent money and so forth. And then when they do sell it, the property value will probably go up anyway. So they do very, very well. This is the Herbert Park Hotel right here. It's a 4-star hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. Now, it's not so much of a touristy hotel. There's lots of businesses around this area, so it's more of a business hotel, although they do have tourists here. But as I say, you're talking about, it's about, 1.5 kilometres, 2 kilometres from Dublin City. So be less tourists around this hotel. Hi, Candice, good to see you. Used to go to the horse show every year and stay at the Sandymount Hotel. Okay, Suzanne, great stuff. And the Sandymount Hotel is a lovely little hotel. Hopefully I'll get there at the very end of the show in probably about half an hour or so, because the Sandymount Hotel is run by a family and has been since the 1960s. It's a lovely hotel right beside Aviva Stadium, which is where all the rugby and soccer games are played here in Ireland. So we're coming into does a great full Irish breakfast, says James. Great stuff, James. Very good. We're coming into Herbert Park right here, folks. It's a beautiful park, and it dates back to 1903. Now, this area at one time was owned by a man by the name of Sidney Herbert, and he actually willed this. He was the Earl of Pembrokeshire as well at one time, and he actually willed this park to the people of the area. And but in 1907, the Great Exhibition took place right here at Herbert Park, and there was over 3 million people attended. It's 32 acres all told, this park right here, as I say. Now, the Great Exhibition would have been more of a where lots of manufacturing companies would have come here to display their goods and so forth. But now there's a pond, a lovely little pond right here. And this pond is very much a breeding ground for a fish called carp, C-A-R-P. So lots of carp are bred in here. And some grow up to 2 feet and so forth. And they've bred lots of fish in here and so forth. It's also, this area is known for its birds, this park. There's lots of fabulous birds that you'll see. And it's a lovely place to come for a walk. As I say, it is 32 acres, so there's lots going on. There's usually swans in here. I don't see any today. But lots of ducks, mallard ducks and what have you. But you get all kinds of birds, including the goldfinch. You get robins. Obviously, you get a lot of robins because they are garden birds. You get the wood pigeons, moorhens, great tits, blackbirds, sparrows, yellow finch, and grey finch. So you get lots and lots of birds that you'll see around here. I say it's lovely. There's lots of benches here as well. Sit down. There's a few coffee shops here in the park. There's one in that hotel as well. So you can sit on these benches, especially during the summer months or the finer weather, and enjoy yourself a cup of coffee while admiring the ducks in the pond and maybe even feeding the ducks. Now, there's also a nature trail here as well. So most of the trees that you see around here at Herbert Park are natural trees. They're not actually being grown by men, but naturally and so forth, where birds probably drop seeds. So a lot of them are thousands of years old, some of the trees here. So it's a great nature trail here, and it's a nature tree trail here, which you can go on, a guided or self-guided nature trail, tree trail and so forth. But you get all kinds of different trees. Now, obviously, they're not in bloom at the moment and so forth. Well, some trees are, but most of them have lost their leaves and we won't see them again till the spring. But you get everything from the holly to the yew trees to Scots pine, ash, birch, hazel, alder, willow trees, hawthorn, elder trees, oak, aspen, cherry, mountain ash, and of course apple trees as well. There's apple trees everywhere here in Ireland. It's about one of the few fruits that we grow, because we can't grow a lot of fruit because we don't get enough hot weather. So the stuff like grapes and so forth, no, none of those are. Oranges, nothing like that is grown here in Ireland. But apples are, and plums are, and peaches are. Not peaches, sorry, pears. Although they can never be that great. They're never that great ripe. Now, some of the trees here, as I said before, are ancient trees, including the yew trees, which are the oldest trees here in Ireland, our native tree, the yew trees. And there's some yew trees here that are 1,000 years old. Now, not far from here in Dublin as well, there is yew trees. Supposedly, there are 3,000 years old. How about that, folks? 3,000 years old. Thanks for the follow, people. Misty and Krista, thank you so much. Do they fish there? No, you wouldn't be able to fish in here. This is a pond. This is a public park. So in the public parks, you're not allowed to fish. There's designated areas where you can fish, and mostly they would fish in the Dodder River. Remember I just showed you the Dodder River right there? Well, that's a big fishing river where they fish for mostly rainbow trout. Now, this park is in two parts. You got Harbour Park Road, separates the two sides of the park. Beyond where I just showed you, where you see the pond, the lake there, behind there are all the football pitches where they play soccer, rugby, Gaelic football, hurling and what have you. So there's a plethora of fields there, football fields. And on this side you have the playgrounds. You also have tennis courts. You also have a bowling green and croquet green and all that kind of stuff. So it really is a very pleasant park. It's really nice. So lovely to see Ballsbridge again. Coming over in March. Well, Suzanne, give me a shout when you come over. Definitely, we'll hook up if you want. Come on a tour with me. And Harbour Park, it is a lovely, lovely park. How is that river spelled? Dodder. D-O-D-D-E-R, Dolly. D-O-D-D-E-R. Dodder. Dodder Park. Dodder River. The River Dodder. Which is, as I said before, Dublin's second longest river. And it's 24 kilometres. 26 kilometres starting the Pure Mountains in County Wicklow. So there you go. You're more than welcome, Dolly. So we're going to move on, folks. Lots of places to show you here around Ballsbridge. As I say, it is a very exclusive area. I'm going to take you to a couple of nice streets in just a little bit. And we're heading towards, we're on Harbour Park Road. As I say, this road separates the two sides of the park. The park consists of like 32 acres, all told. And if you look over here, the park superintendents in a lot of parks, public parks throughout Ireland, get the chance to live in these beautiful, and they all look similar as well. You might have seen the one on St. Stephen's Green, which actually I'm doing tomorrow, St. Stephen's Green Park tomorrow. Watch out for that tour, folks. St. Stephen's Green is Dublin's most popular city park. It's absolutely beautiful. And there's a home just like this, which is actually pretty much bigger, the one in St. Stephen's Green. But the superintendent, the park superintendent, gets to live in this beautiful Victorian home for free. And as I said before, a lot of the public parks here in Dublin, the superintendent gets to live in a house just like this. So it really is pretty neat. What do you think, folks? I like it a lot. Maybe when I retire, I'll become a park superintendent. Well, that would mean I wasn't retired. Maybe my next job will be park superintendent as well. Get to live in a house like that for free. Get excited, folks. I like it a lot. We're moving on here, folks, and we're going to make our way onto Clyde Road, which is the second most expensive road in all of Ireland. And full of multi-million-dollar homes. And you'll see it just in a short period. Now, I also mentioned to you that Ballsbridge is home to actually 28 of the world's embassies are housed right here in Ballsbridge. We're going to show you a few of those in just a minute. I would like that job too, says Catherine. Yes, indeed, Catherine. So let me just show you. There's a really nice... did I pass it? No, I didn't. There's a lovely Celtic cross right here in Ballsbridge. And this is dedicated to all the people that lived in this area that were involved in the 1916 Easter Rising. Now, this was actually unveiled by Eamon de Valera, as it says there, on the 13th of May, 1973. And Eamon de Valera, he was also involved in the 1916 Easter Rising. He was one of the leaders of that 1916 Easter Rising. And he was the only leader of the 1916 Easter Rising that was not executed. All the other leaders were executed. Why was Eamon de Valera not executed? The reason why was because he was born in America. He was only an infant. He wasn't even a year old when his mother took him back to Ireland. His mother was Irish, his father was Spanish. And this man, He would have been on about 20, 25 years old or 27 years old, whatever, during the 1916 Easter Rising, which was a 6-day war here in Dublin against the British forces for independence and so forth, which we lost. We had to surrender after 6 days. As I say, all the leaders on the Irish side of the Irish volunteer armies were executed except for Emmett De Valera because he was born in America. Now, he went on to live till he was 94 years old, was Prime Minister of Ireland, which we call Taoiseach, on 3 separate occasions, and was 2-term President of Ireland twice. 2 terms is 14 years. So in fact, he was 28 years as President of Ireland. And he could have been executed that day in 1916 in Kilmainham jail. So how about that, folks? Get excited. Now, as I said before, this area of Ballsbridge is known for its embassies. There's 28 of the world's embassies, but by far and away, the most important one, or the most visited one by the Irish people, is this one right here, folks, that you're looking at right now. And what embassy is this? Some of you may have been on this tour before. You might know, but you'll see the American flag right there. So this is the American embassy here in Dublin. And it dates back to, I think it's 1964. No, yeah, it was actually, the building began in 1962 and was completed in 1964. And as you can see, it's a circular building, oval shaped. And it was built by the Crampton builders, one of the biggest builders here in Ireland, who built a lot of residential homes throughout Ireland, especially in Dublin. They also built a lot of commercial buildings. They're still going strong today. And they date right back to 1879, the Crampton brothers. It was designed by an American, John Johansson, and an Irishman, 2 architects, Michael Flynn. So Michael Flynn and John Johansson. How about that, folks? What do you think? The Americans' embassy in Dublin. So what the amazing thing about this is, folks, I am about 20 feet away from America. Once I go through the gates in here, which I'm not going to today because it's all secured and so forth, I will be in America. I would technically be in America. Folks, I'm right beside you. All Americans are on here today. I'm right beside you. I'm 20 feet away from America right now. How about that, folks? Get excited. So take some nice postcard photographs of the American embassy right here in Dublin. Now, I came here myself in 1985 to get my green card to go to America, as many, many, many Irish people have done throughout the years and so forth. And you're waving, Beverly's waving. And as I said, I came here in 1985 to get my green card. And then I went to America and I lived there for 25 years. Like lots of Irish people, it's a goal of Irish people is to go to America. And it's very much a goal to live in America. And some live there for the rest of their lives. Others come back home after spending, sometimes a significant amount of time. Can you please position your camera so it includes the flag? Yes, indeed. Okay, so how about that? Can you see the flag there? How's that? How's that, Caroline? Where are the states I lived 6 years in Boston, 2 years in New York, 17 years in Annapolis in Maryland. Perfect. You're welcome. And right here, now this road that we're coming up to here is Clyde Road. And as I said before, this is very cool, says Laura. This is the second most expensive road in all of Ireland. You might hear the church bells. I'm going to show you this church, St. Bartholomew's Church. Here you have the Kenyan embassy. Now we do have a tour guide in Kenya. I think we have a few tour guides in Kenya, but we have Claire, who's in Kenya. And I actually took a picture of this the last time I was doing this tour, and I sent it to her. She was very excited to see the Kenyan embassy in Dublin. Why did you leave? Why did I leave the US? I had a business over there, Candice. I was doing pretty well. I had a wholesale business. It was doing fabulous. And then during the crash, the financial crash, 2007, 2008, my business nosedived. And it was, I I made a big mistake by putting my money back into the business instead of closing it down and doing something else, because I was dealing with different products. This is Clyde Road, as I say, second richest road in all of Dublin. These are beautiful, beautiful homes. So as I was saying about my history in America, had a fantastic time, loved it, was brilliant, had a business, it crashed on me during the last financial crash because people didn't need the products that I was selling. I was not selling necessity items, I was selling luxury items. And so therefore, people didn't need luxury items at that time. And I spent another 3 years putting all my money back into it like an idiot. And it didn't pan out. And I left in 2011. I came home to Ireland. I wasn't sure whether I was going to stay here or whether I was going to go back to the US, but I just needed a break I used to work, when I had my company, I used to work 12 to 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. I was all the time working, but I loved it. It was something I liked doing. It was sales, marketing, sales and marketing, and I love sales. I like dealing with people, and it's lots of fun. Have a look at this beautiful church. It's called Saint. Are you near Raglan Road? Yes, we are, Suzanne. Very near Raglan Road, but it's too far to walk because there's lots of other spots I want to show you and so forth. This church right here dates back to 1869, St. Bartholomew's Church. And in 1907, I believe it was, the parents of Alan Turing, the man that established or invented the Enigma code, which was very significant in that because of him inventing the Enigma code, they were able to shorten the war by many, many years, because it was a German code that they cracked, all due to Alan Turing. And his parents were married here in 1907. His mother was from County Clare in the west coast of Ireland. His father was British. Soon after they got married, they did live here for a while. Soon after they got married, they moved to Britain. His father was already British. Now have a look at some of these homes. These homes get actually larger the further you go up this road and so forth. Now you won't get a home like this for under 2 or 3 million euros. I mean, these are large. These have basements and everything in them too. And they also have big back gardens. And, it stretches a long way in the back as well. They really are beautiful. They're beautiful homes. I love the red brick, more in that Victorian style. So a lot of these homes would have been built, between around 1840 to early 1900s. Very early 1900s, probably 1900. So you're talking about, there would be 1800s, these homes right here. Very, very well maintained. Like most of the homes in Dublin, in these areas of Dublin, are very, very well maintained because it's prime real estate. So why wouldn't you? Now, a lot of people that live in these homes and so forth, or that own these homes, because a lot of these will be rented homes as well, but a lot of the people that own these will be part of families with what I call old money, that have had money through their generations of the same family, and the property they have is passed down through generations. And they usually don't sell the properties. They'll rent them out or they'll live in them themselves. Where does the material for the brick come from? Well, there's a lot of quarries here in Ireland. One of the biggest quarries is in County Wicklow. And a lot of granite and so forth. So they'll be built right here. Now, they're very, very, very old buildings in Dublin, like the cathedrals and so forth. A lot of those were built in the English Gothic style, or the Romanesque style, if you like. And a lot of the brick, believe it or not, came from Bristol in the UK. So Bristol rock or Bristol stone, if you like. Here's another look from a different angle at the United States Embassy here in Dublin. Beautiful oval-shaped building. Absolutely amazing. What do you think, folks? With the American flag. How many Americans have we got on here? Give me a thumbs up if you're an American. Now, I know we've got some Canadians on here too, probably. Canadian Embassy is not that far away from here, probably about a kilometre or less away. I'll show it you some other day. We're around there. So we got lots of Americans on here today, folks. So there you are, the American Embassy in Dublin, by far and away the most visited embassy in all of Dublin. And just to mention the other embassies that are located here in Ballsbridge, you have the American Embassy, the British Embassy, the Swiss Embassy, the Turkish Embassy, Polish, Netherlands, Moroccan, Korean, Italian, Israeli, Egyptian, Chinese, Belgium, Argentina, Finland, Norway, Austrian, and French. So lots and lots of embassies right here in Ballsbridge. This is all, say, part of the village of Ballsbridge. It's a very upmarket type village. There's a real estate office across the road. I'm going to bring you there, and I'll show you some of the homes for sale, the ones that are for sale, and the price tags on them. This is a really fabulous restaurant right here in front of me called Rowley's. It's not that old, dates back to early 1980s, but they have over 80 staff in it, and the food here is absolutely exceptional. It's a brilliantly run restaurant, fabulous, and one of the go-to places in Ballsbridge. But people come from all over to come to this restaurant, as it's definitely a high-end restaurant. Stuff would not be cheap in here. Look at some of the menu right here at Rowley's. We'll start saving. There you go, Suzanne. Must eat there. Definitely, Suzanne. Like Embassy Row in Washington, D.C., that's right. Massachusetts Avenue, Washington, D.C. That's where the Irish Embassy is in D.C., near DuPont Circle. Just up the street from DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C. is the Irish Embassy. It's one of the first buildings, or homes, buildings, if you like, just after DuPont Circle on Massachusetts Avenue. This is another really fabulous bar. It's called the Bridge Bar. Now they recently refurbished this place or remodeled it. It dates back to 1859. Now I hate when I do this, but this is a fabulous bar called the Bridge Bar. But I really hate it when the Bridge. Now this is owned by some rugby players, Irish international rugby players. There's 4 of them that bought this very iconic pub, if you like, traditional pub. But they actually, it looks like a brand new pub because only about 4 or 5 years ago that they bought it. I just hate when they interfere with old buildings. I love them to stay the same, the traditional, you know, traditional bar. This is Sherry Fitzgerald across the road right here. I'm going to run across the road here, folks. I'm running across the road. Can't wait around. This is Sherry Fitzgerald that you're looking at right here in front of you. And this is, they're the #1 realtors in all of Ireland. And estate agents, if you like. Maybe you can see some of the homes here for sale. These are just apartments. If you notice, not many of the homes I just showed you are on here. They're all just apartments. But let's see here. Here, 1.5 million for that house right there. 1.5 million. Get excited, folks. Here, this one, 2.75. 2.790. Nearly 3 million for that home right there, folks. Anybody want to buy it? So we're going down here, Shelburne Road, right here in Ballsbridge. And if you look over here, you see this beautiful post office. This is a very old post office, dates back to 1890. And really lovely. Now, there's lots of old post offices still in operation here in Ireland, especially if you go down the country to different rural parts of Ireland. You'll find very old post offices, but also in some Dublin villages too, you'll find very unique old post offices. I think this one dates back to around 1890. Now, Dublin has the oldest continuously run post office in the whole world. It is the GPO, the General Post Office on O'Connell Street, Dublin's main thoroughfare, Dublin's largest street, and still going strong today. It was established in 1818. Now, there would have been post offices probably before that across the world, but they're not still in operation at the same location. So it's the largest, or sorry, the oldest continuously used post office in the world. Now, because this is a high-end area with lots of people with lots of money, of course, you have to have a Mercedes-Benz dealership. And these vehicles would be costing you starting price around 75 grand and upwards. These are high-end Mercedes-Benz dealership with the best ones, the best vehicles money can buy. Get excited, folks. We have our own Starbucks here, of course. We got lots and lots of Starbucks restaurants here, or coffee shops. When Starbucks came in here, there was two men owned the franchise, or two brothers, and they bought the franchise. Thank you, Candace. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. They bought the franchise for Starbucks, and many people told them, there were two brothers, oh, you'll never do well. Thank you, Catherine. You will never do well with Starbucks here in Dublin. There's already too many coffee shops. But not only did they do well, they did phenomenal. Because we are the second, believe this or not, folks, the second largest coffee drinkers in the whole entire world. It's quite incredible. Per head of population, obviously, there's countries that drink a lot more coffee than us, but per head of population, we've only a very small population here. 5.5 million or whatever. But per head of population, we drink more coffee than anybody else. Talking about great coffee shops, here's Butler's Chocolate Cafe. You may have been on my Grafton Street tour before and you've seen the original location for Butler's Chocolate Cafe on that tour. Now, they were a chocolate factory, and during the mid to late 1990s, their chocolates weren't selling too well. So they decided to open up a coffee shop right there off of Grafton Street in Dublin City. And the purpose was to try and get exposure to their chocolates, their boxes of chocolates, not their coffee. But not only did the chocolates start flying off the shelves, they were selling tons and tons of chocolates and boxes of chocolates, but their coffee shops were doing extremely well as well. And to this day, they have probably about 20, 30 locations across Dublin. Love a good Irish coffee, says Laura. A chocolate cafe. Yes, please. Now, this is the only cafe or coffee shop anywhere in Dublin, only Butler's Chocolate Cafe, where you will get, along with your cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever, a piece of chocolate. And you have your choice of about 60 different pieces of chocolate. You can only have the one chocolate, but you have your choice. Now, Dublin is home to some of the biggest, or most of the biggest tech companies in the world, including the headquarters for Europe, for Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name the biggest tech companies in the world. They're all here in Dublin, and their European headquarters are here in Dublin at a different location, but not too far from here. But before there was ever your Facebook or your Google, the first ever tech company, or computer company, if you like, was this one right here. And they've been here for a very long time. And this is the original location. And this is IBM, International Business Machines. This is their very first location here in Dublin, still going strong today. And they came here in 1956, which just tells you how long ago that was. 1956 they came here at this location, and they're still located here today. So way before there was any of these other tech companies, there was IBM. There you go. The only coffee I will drink. What's that, David? What's that? It's Irish coffee. Yeah, it's good. Now, we're going to make our way further down here on Shelbourne Road. And we're going to take a right turn in just a little bit to Lansdowne Road. And Lansdowne Road, on that road, you have what was originally named Lansdowne Road Stadium. A big football stadium. Today it's all these big stadiums You've probably noticed across the US and Canada and across the world, and even the football teams across England, they're all now sponsored by corporations. So they don't have their original names. This stadium was named, you can see it there in the background. Thanks, Alison. Was named after the road that was on, Lansdowne Road Stadium. Today it's called Aviva Stadium, named after one of the biggest insurance companies in the world. And yes, Six Nations, folks, as Suzanne's just mentioned there. And this competition will start in February. And the Six Nations Cup has Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, France, and Italy. And it's a fantastic tournament. They all play each other once. And they usually have they have 5 games, so 3-year games. 1 year will be at home, 2 away from home, and the next year you'll have 3 away and 2 at home. But it is absolutely, thank you, Paddy, appreciate it, thank you so much. It's an absolutely fabulous competition, and it's brilliant. Rugby is huge here in Ireland, and at this present time, today, Ireland is ranked, wait for it, folks, we're ranked #1 country in the world in rugby. How about that, folks? A little country like Ireland is the #1 rugby country in the world. We're ranked #1. Now, this year, 2023, in September this year, we have the Rugby World Cup taking place in France. And of course, one of the favourites to win that competition, to win the World Cup of Rugby, is Ireland. Now, we never do well, unfortunately, we never do well in the World Cup. We've never gone beyond the quarterfinals. For whatever reason, in that competition, we just never seem to play well in the quarterfinals. It just gets the better of us. Love my rugby, says Beverly. Great stuff, Beverly. It is a fantastic game. I love it. It's fabulous. Now, and this dates back to 1879, this stadium, although it doesn't look like it, because in 2006, it was remodeled. It was closed down, and all the rugby and soccer games were then played at Dublin and Ireland's largest stadium, which is Croke Park Stadium on the north side of Dublin, and it's Ireland's national stadium, which holds 83,000 fans. And then in 2010, this was completed, and it looks like one of your NFL stadiums in the US. It was modeled after the US stadiums in the US, the NFL stadiums. So it looks just like one of those, with tons of restaurants throughout it, or eating facilities throughout it. But it is a magnificent stadium. Grounds are beautiful in there. And it's also home to Lansdowne Rugby Club. Now, they don't play on the main pitch anymore. Their grounds are right beside it. Lansdowne Rugby Club. Let's say dating back to 1879. So very, very old. And in fact, Ireland has the oldest rugby club in the world. You may have been on my Trinity College tour before, and Trinity College, their sports teams are known as Dublin University, and the oldest rugby club in the world is Dublin University, Trinity College Rugby Club. How about that? Dating back to 1854. Now, obviously, rugby was invented in England in a place called Rugby. So they did have the oldest rugby club in the world. I believe it was called Guy's Hospital. And but that club has since been disbanded. So making Trinity College, Dublin University, the oldest rugby club in the world today. 1854. How about that? Now, we're already over 52 minutes. Love your tours, Dave. Here's Dublin, here in Dublin. But you are welcome back anytime to the United States. You could do some tours here, yeah. Well, we already have lots of tour guides in the US. I love watching Erin and Patrick in New York, and they actually travel a lot throughout the US to do tours, and they're absolutely fabulous. They're absolutely amazing. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Thank you. They're amazing tour guides, so I'm a big fan of theirs. I watch a lot of their tours myself, and I don't think you could ever better what they do, because they're actors as well. They're Broadway stars on Broadway actors, so they know how to communicate. They know how to put on a show. They're not only great tour guides, but they're brilliant entertainers. And I'd be shown up if I was doing tours in the US by them guys. They're so good. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. Well, yeah, the US is massive. I mean, it's gigantic. Absolutely humongous. What is it, 330 million people? 50 states. And actually, the biggest state is not even on the mainland. Alaska. Imagine watching some tours from Alaska. That would be brilliant. That would be amazing. Yeah, I love Erin and Patrick too, says Laura. They are fabulous. They're amazing. Now, that's not to say there's not other great American guides as well. Mike in Chicago, he's also an exceptional guide. He's fabulous. And of course, you have Patrick Toomey in Canada, in Banff, an absolutely amazing tour guide. He's actually, as soon as my tours finishes, go on and watch Patrick. Great tour guide. I think he's up in the mountains today, up the Rockies, the Canadian Rockies. So watch out for that. I'm probably missing loads of people, other tour guides in America that I can't think of right now. But now someone mentioned just, here's the river Dodder again, right here. The Dodder actually ends just about, I'd say about 500 meters from here. Just to let you know, folks, I'm doing a tour tomorrow of St. Stephen's Green Park, which is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful city park, right in the heart of Dublin City. And it's by far and away Dublin's most popular city park. It's full of history. It dates back to 1663. It's part of St. Stephen's Green Square, which is one of the 5 Georgian squares of Dublin, and it's the oldest of the 5 Georgian squares of Dublin, as I say, dating back to 1663. It's full of history, this park. Lots of statues, lots of memorabilia within the park itself. Beautiful setting. 2 beautiful ponds with lots of wildlife along the park as well. Some beautiful trees, and so I say, an abundance of flora and fauna. I hope you can join me for that too, folks. Tomorrow, I think it's at 3 p.m. Irish time. Check your local listings. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Suzanne and Dolly, thank you. You're very kind. Thanks, Melanie, for the... Now, someone mentioned a little earlier that they stayed in Sandymount Hotel. Was that Suzanne, Susan? I can't remember who that was. Caroline, was it you? It was Suzanne. So Suzanne stayed here at the Sandymount Hotel. This is it right here, folks. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful hotel. And what's great about this hotel, lovely little coffee shop there. You can sit in around here. What's wonderful about this hotel is that it has been run by the same family since the early 1970s, the O'Loughlin family, and they still own it today, I believe. And what's so great about the location is it's right beside the rugby stadium, the soccer stadium, Aviva Stadium right across there. So it's prime real estate. And because if there's any football games going on, this place would be full nearly all the time. Great location. So that's a rugby line out there, folks, if you have never watched a game of rugby before. So it's a magnificent sculpture right there. I'm not a tour guide here, so it would take a lot of work to get up and going. But I'm battling the idea around. Kaylin from Utah. Kaylin, give it a shot. What's the worst going to happen? You know? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's what I always say. I love rugby, says Paddy. That and lacrosse are my favourite sports. Of course, lacrosse is a native Indian game originally, and played in many colleges throughout the United States and Canada. And great sport, lacrosse. Rugby is actually pretty big in Canada and the US now. Unfortunately, the national teams aren't that great, but they're getting better as time goes by. One day, they'll probably win the World Cup of Rugby. But I would say it'll take many years because so many of these other countries in Europe have been playing for so much longer, especially in the English or the British Isles with Scotland, Wales, and England. And then, of course, we've been playing it a long time here in Ireland as well. So a lot of catching up to do because they probably didn't start playing rugby till maybe the early 1920s or something, 30s. So we had a good